Good morning, students. Hope all of you are doing well. So, welcome back to your chemistry class. As we know, we have completed 2 chapters of chemistry. I hope all of you have completed your previous work. So, now we are going to start chapter 3. The name of the chapter 3 is Separation of Substances. In this chapter, we are going to study classification of matter, classification of elements, and different kind of separation techniques, how we separate the mixture. So there are different kind of separation methods. So we going to study all this in this chapter. So let's do it one by one. In this chapter, first we come to know what is separation. Separation word refers to isolation of substances which occur together. Normally, substances exist in the form of mixture with little or more of a other component. Thus, in order to have a pure substance, separation become must, and this separation can be done by physical or chemical method. So in this chapter, this is very important. What is separation? Separation means isolation of substances. So how we do the isolation of substances? We do isolation of substances by separation techniques. So there are two kinds of separation techniques: separation by physical method or separation by chemical method. So it is very important to know that the separation word means isolation of substances. The next topic is classification of matter. So on the basis of chemical properties, we divide or classify the matter. So in this diagram, you can see matter can be classified into two categories: pure substances and impure substances. So impure substances or mixtures both are same. So matter is divided into two: pure substances and impure substances. Then pure substances, again it is divided into two categories: elements and compounds. All of you know that what is element? Element is a pure substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. So here is the example. You can see H2 and O2. Both of these are made up of only one kind of atoms. Like H2, there is 2 atoms of hydrogen. In O2, there is 2 atoms of oxygen. So they are made up of only one kind of atoms. So we call this elements, and elements are the pure substances. Next category is compound. So what is compound? When 2 or more elements combine chemically together, so the compound will form. When 2 or more elements chemically combine together, compounds will form. The examples of compounds are NH3, that is ammonia, and H2O, that is water. In this you can see there are two elements, nitrogen and hydrogen. So nitrogen and hydrogen combine together and they will make ammonia. Ammonia is a compound. And in the example of water, hydrogen and oxygen both are elements. They combine together to form water. So the important point is here that elements combine chemically to form compound. Then we come to impure substances or mixtures. So it is divided into two categories: homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture. Then homogeneous, example of homogeneous mixture, salt plus water, and heterogeneous, sand plus water. So what is homogeneous mixture? Homogeneous mixture is that mixture in which there is a uniform composition of components, and in heterogeneous there is not uniform composition of components. So this is homogeneous and this is heterogeneous. Then the next topic is pure substances. What is pure substance? Pure substances is the one which is made up of only one kind of molecules. It has definite composition and properties. So what is pure substance? Pure substance is made up of only one kind of molecules. It has definite composition and properties. Pure substance is the one which has uniform composition and properties. It is pure and composed of single unit which cannot be separated by physical means. Element and compound are thus classified as pure substances. So in previous slide we have seen that elements and compound are classified under pure substances. Milk appears to be pure, but actually it is a mixture of carbohydrate, fat, protein, sugar, vitamins and minerals. So we think that milk is a pure substance, but milk is not a pure substance. It is a mixture of carbohydrate, fat, protein, sugar, vitamins and minerals. Thus, mixture is not a pure substance. We know that mixture is a impure substance. So if there is any mixture, that cannot be a pure substances. So there are the certain properties of pure substance. It should have fixed melting and boiling points. It should have a definite specific gravity. It should have uniform composition. It could be separated by chemical means only. So these all are the characteristic of a pure substances. So pure substances have all these characteristics, that they have fixed melting and boiling point, and they have definite gravity, uniform composition, and this is very important, that pure substances separated by only chemical methods. So it is very important point here. If we want to separate pure substances, so we have to apply the chemical methods. We can't separate pure substance by physical method. So it is very important here. The next topic is elements. What is elements? Elements are the pure substances which is made up of only one kind of atom. I have already explained earlier. So there are 120 elements in the universe which we know. And 90 elements are natural elements. So what are natural elements? Elements those occur in nature, we call them natural elements. The elements are considered to the building blocks of the universe are hydrogen and helium. We know that hydrogen and helium find in abundance in universe. That's why hydrogen and helium are the building blocks of the universe. And our body comprises of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So there are certain characteristics of elements. Like an element is made up of only one kind of atom. It cannot be broken down into simpler substances by any physical or chemical process. It means we can't break down the elements into simpler substances by any method. So we can't break down the elements into simpler substances. Element may occur naturally or may be prepared artificially. Element may be classified into four main categories. So there are four categories of element: metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. So metals element classified into four categories, that is metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. Then we come to the next topic, classification of elements. So what is the classification of elements? Element is classified into three categories on the basis of the number of atoms. How many number of atom present in the element? So on the basis of the number of atoms, we classified elements into three categories: monoatomic, diatomic and polyatomic. What is the meaning of monoatomic? Composed of one atom. There is only one atom. That's why its name is monoatomic. Diatomic, composed of two atoms. Polyatomic, composed of more than two atoms. If there is more than two atoms, then that is polyatomic. So the example of monoatomic is helium, diatomic, oxygen and nitrogen. We know O2 and N2. So both are the examples of diatomic. And polyatomic. Again it is classified into three categories: triatomic, composed of three atoms. So the example of triatomic is ozone. We know the formula of ozone is O3. So it is an example of triatomic. Tetraatomic, composed of four atoms, like phosphorus. The formula of phosphorus is P4. So you can see that there is four atoms of phosphorus in one molecule. Then octaatomic, so composed of 8 atoms, sulfur, S8. So these are the classification of elements. Then we come to the next topic, compounds. What are compounds? A compound is a pure substance which is made up of two or more elements combined chemically in a fixed ratio by weight. It can be broken down into elements by chemical method. So what is compound? Compound is made up of two or more elements chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. So the elements combined in fixed ratio, and the compound can be broken down into elements by only chemical methods. We can't do it by physical method. So compound can be broken down into elements by chemical method. There are certain characteristics of a compound. It is homogeneous in nature. It has a fixed composition by weight. Compound is formed from its element by chemical reaction. The properties of a compound are different from those of constituent element. So this is the main important point, that the compound's property are entirely different from the element which is made up of. For example, if iron and sulfur combine together to form compound iron sulfide, so iron sulfide don't have the property of iron as well as don't have the property of sulfur. Iron sulfide has totally new properties. So compound have different property from its constituent elements. So it is a very important point. A compound has definite melting and boiling point. Then we come to the mixture. What is mixture? A mixture is formed when two or more substances are mixed together in any proportion such that they retain their individual properties and can be separated by physical means. So what is mixture? Mixture is a combination of two or more substances in any proportion. So there is no fixed proportion. Like in compound, there is a fixed ratio of element. But in mixture, there is no ratio, no proportion. They can combine in any proportion. So in mixture, two or more substances mixed together in any proportion and they can be separated by physical means. So we don't have to apply any chemical method. Mixture can be separated by physical methods. Then we come to the types of mixture. So there are two types of mixture, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. What is homogeneous? A mixture in which its constituents are distributed uniformly is called homogeneous, and a mixture in which its constituents are not distributed uniformly is called heterogeneous. So this is the two type of the mixtures. Then we come to the next topic, separation of mixtures. How can we separate the mixture? Substances around us, certain impurities. We know every substance has certain impurities. For example, the rice we buy has stone husk in it. Milkman usually mix water in milk. Air we breathe contain fumes, smoke and dust particle. All substances have certain other substances mixed with them which necessitate of their removal. So why constituent of mixture are to be separated? Why we apply the separation method to separate the mixture? So this is the main point. To remove undesirable material from desirable material. Why we do separation? To remove undesirable material, because we want the pure substance. If we want to have the pure substance, we should apply separation techniques. Removal of impure substance from pure. If we want to get the pure substance, so we have to apply the separation technique to improve quality of the substance. So these are the main reasons why we use separation techniques for separate the mixture. Then the first separation method is method to separate solid from solid mixture. So if the components are solid, both components are solid, how can we separate the mixture? So there is process winnowing. What is winnowing? It is a process used by farmers to separate grains from husk. So you can see in the diagram what is winnowing. It is used by the farmer to separate grain from husk. What is the principle of this method? Winnowing is based on the fact that grains are heavier than husk. So it is very important. This method is based on the principle that grains are heavier than husk. So we can separate it by winnowing. what is the method of winnowing? How can we do it? The mixture of grains and husk is made to fall from a height. You can see in the diagram. The mixture of grain and husk fall from the height. Wind carries the husk with it and two separate heaps are obtained from husk and grain. So you can see in the diagram what is the method, how can we do the process of winnowing. Example, separating chaff or husk from the wheat grain. If we want to separate the husk from wheat grain, so we should apply winnowing. This method will be used. The next method is hand picking. So what is hand picking? It is a process in which undesirable components are removed from the desired components manually. So what is hand picking? When we do the method of hand picking, when the components are different in size and color. When the components are different in size and color, we use the method of hand picking. So what is the principle of this method? It is based on the fact that one of the component differ in shape, size or color. If one component differ in shape, size or color, then we apply the method of hand picking. Example, stone in pulses. So it is a very good example. You can see also in this diagram. It is the method you have also seen at your home, that your mother always do this. When they want to remove the stone from pulses or a stone from rice, so they use the method of hand picking. So it is a very common method you have seen at your home. So what is the procedure? This method is used only when any one of the component is present in small quantities and differ in color, shape and size, so that can be picked up manually. So what is the basic thing of this method? This method is used when one of the component is differ from shape, size and color, and also in less quantity. So we can do it manually, and in the diagram you can see. Second method is magnetic separation. This method is employed to separate the magnetic substances from the mixture. If we want to separate the magnetic substances, so we apply the method of magnetic separation. The principle of the method is, it is based on the property of a magnet to attract magnetic substance. We know what is the property of magnet. Magnet attract the magnetic substances. So this is the principle of the method. Then we go to the method. How can we do it? Magnet is passed over the mixture containing iron. All the iron particles get cling to the magnet and impurities are left behind. You can see in the diagram that yes, magnet is passed over the mixture which is containing iron. All the iron particles get clinged and impurities are left behind. Example, iron from a mixture of iron and sulfur. The next method is sieving. So let's see what is sieving. It is the process in which any mixture is passed through porous material. The smaller component of the mixture pass through the sieve and bigger component are left on the sieve. So this is also a very common method you have seen at your home. Your mothers always do this, the method of sieving. So there is a porous material, the smaller components of the mixture pass through the sieves and the bigger components left on the sieves. Principle, it is based on the principle of filtration. So this point is to be remembered, that sieving is based on the principle of filtration. Method, the mixture is taken on the sieve and given mechanical force. The smaller component pass through the sieve and bigger components are left. Example, tea leaves from tea. So we use, when we want to separate tea leaves from tea, so we use the method of filtration, because sieving is based on the method of filtration. Sieving of flour. This is the best example of this method, sieving of flour, and all of you have seen at your home. So this is very common method. The next method is sublimation. It is very important method. What is sublimation? It is the process in which solid change directly into vapor and vapor change directly into solid. So what is sublimation? In this process, solid directly changes into vapor and vapor directly changes into solid. there is no intermediate state. So this is called sublimation. Principle of this method, it employs the principle of change of state by skipping the intermediate state. I have already told you that there is no intermediate state. That's why it is based on principle that in this change it is skipping the intermediate state. Method, the mixture is taken in a sublimating dish. You can see in the diagram. Here is the diagram. The mixture is taken in a sublimating dish and heated strongly until one component gets evaporated and condensed to form solid on the upper part of the sublimating flask. So you can see in the picture. Yes, we can take the mixture in sublimating dish. This is the sublimating dish and heated strongly until one component gets evaporated and condensed to form solid on the upper part of the sublimating mass. So by this diagram, it is very easy to understand you. Then the next topic is schematic scheme to separate a solid-solid mixture. Schematic scheme means diagrammatic representation, how we separate a solid-solid mixture. First example is iodine and sodium chloride. If we have the mixture of iodine and sodium chloride, so how do we separate? First we heat the mixture. Then we know iodine is sublimate, so we do heat. So iodine will sublimate and sodium chloride will residue. So how do we separate the mixture of iodine and sodium chloride? By sublimation. Then potassium chloride, iron fillings and camphor. We know that camphor is also a sublimate. So again we use the method of sublimation or heat. So camphor sublimates and potassium chloride and iron fillings will left. Then we pass magnet. So iron will be separate. When we pass the magnet, iron will be separate because we know iron have the magnetic properties. And then potassium chloride left as a residue. So we separate all this. Again, the next example is stone, ammonium chloride and sodium chloride. So how can we separate this? Pass the mixture through a sieve. So we use the method of sieving. Pass the mixture through a sieve. Stone left as residue on the sieve. Sodium chloride and ammonium chloride left. So ammonium chloride is also a sublimate. So we use sublimation here. So ammonium chloride sublimate and sodium chloride is left as a residue. All of you know that a very important point, that all of you know what are the sublimates like sodium chloride, like ammonium chloride, camphor, iodine, all these are sublimate. So when there is a sublimate component in mixture, we always use the method of sublimation to separate this. So this is very important. The next method is method to separate a liquid or a solid from liquid mixture. So when one component is liquid and another component is solid, so how do we separate this kind of mixture? The first method is sedimentation. What is sedimentation? It is the process of settling down of heavy solid at the bottom. I repeat it again. It is the process of settling down of heavy solid at the bottom. You can understand it by this example. So if we want to separate the muddy water, so we use the process of sedimentation. We take muddy water in a beaker and we allow to stand it for some time. After some time the mud will settle down in the bottom and the clear water on the upper surface of the beaker. So we pour clear water from and the sand is left behind. So this is the sedimentation. When heavy material settle down in the bottom, so we call it sedimentation. And when we pour out the clear liquid, so this is called the decantation. So there are two procedures, sedimentation and decantation. So what is decantation? When we pour out the clear water into another beaker, this process is called the decantation. The next procedure is filtration. It is very common process. All of you know that. The process in which an insoluble component is removed from the liquid mixture. So it is very important that component should be insoluble. When there is an insoluble component, we use the method of filtration. For example, if we have a water and silver chloride, then we filter. Silver chloride remains on the filter paper and water pass down. So the liquid pass down, we sell the filtrate. So water will be the filtrate and silver chloride is the residue. The solid part which is remain on the filter paper, we call it residue, and the clear water which is separated from solution, we call it filtrate. The clear liquid obtained from suspension of insoluble solid and liquid by the process of filtration is known as filtrate, and the solid particle left on the filter paper after filtration is called the residue. So there are two new terms, residue and filtrate. All of you know that the solid part remains on the filter paper, we call it residue, and the clear solution we get after the filtration, we call it filtrate. Then the next method is flotation. It is the process by which we can remove insoluble lighter solid from the liquid solid mixture. So when we have one component is lighter, we use the method of flotation. Like sawdust and water can be separated by this method. So if we want to separate the mixture of sawdust and water, it can be separated by flotation. Then the next method is centrifugation. Centrifugation is a method for separating the fine suspended particle of a substance in a liquid by rotating the liquid in a closed container. So in this method, the centrifugation machine you can see in the diagram. So what we will do with the help of centrifugation, we separate the fine suspended particle of a substance in a liquid by rotating the liquid in a closed container. So the centrifugation you have also seen at your home. So churning of milk to separate cream. This is the very good example of the centrifugation. If we want to separate butter from milk or cream from milk, so we use the method of centrifugation. Then we come to the next method, evaporation. The process in which a liquid changes into vapor on gentle heating is known as evaporation. What is when liquid changes into the vapor? When we heat the solution, liquid changes into the vapor. We call this evaporation. You can see in the diagram, salt dissolved in water. So when we have salt dissolved in water, so we separate this by the method of evaporation. The process is used to separate those mixture in which one of the component is non-volatile, and the separation of water and common salt is done by this method. So the important point is here, the method is used to separate those mixture in which one component is non-volatile. So for this method, one component should be non-volatile. The next method is distillation. So what is distillation? It is the process of obtaining a pure liquid from a solution when two liquids differ abruptly in their boiling point. So when two liquids differ in their boiling points, we use the method of distillation. And here is the diagram. You can see how can we do the distillation, and the distillation apparatus is here. The next method is fractional distillation. So what is fractional distillation? The process of separating the mixture of two miscible liquid by using distillation carried out with the help of a long fractionating column is called fractional distillation. It means if there is a two miscible liquids, if we want to separate two miscible liquid, we use the method of fractional distillation. So it is very important point. If we want to separate miscible liquid, we use fractional distillation, and there is a fractional distillating column. You can see in the diagram, fractional distillation column. Like example, alcohol and water. If we want to separate alcohol and water, Because alcohol and water are soluble in each other, they are miscible. So we use the method of fractional distillation. The next method is by using separating funnel. This method is employed when a mixture consists of two liquids which are not miscible with each other. So it's a very important point. Keep it in the mind. When two liquids are miscible, we apply the method of fractional distillation, and when two liquids are immiscible, we use separating funnel. So this is a very important point. For example, water and kerosene. We know water and kerosene are insoluble in each other. They are immiscible. So we use the method of separating funnel. And in this diagram, you can see what is separating funnel. And kerosene and water are separated by separating funnel. So there are two layers, one layer of water and one layer of kerosene. So the lighter component have the upper layer and the heavier component have the lower layer. So in this diagram you can see very well. The next method is chromatography method. Chromatography is a technique used to separate the constituent of a small quantity of a mixture of substances that dissolve in the same liquid. The substance is spread across the paper at different speed. It is often used to separate the small quantity of mixture of liquid or gases, and it is based on the principle of adsorption. So it is very important point that chromatography is based on the principle of adsorption. So it is very important, and this method is used to separate the constituent of a small quantity of a mixture of substances that dissolve in the same liquid. So it is very important. The next topic is schematic scheme for separation of various mixture. What is the meaning of schematic? It means diagrammatic representation of separation method. The first example is common salt, iron filling and sand. If we want to separate this, so first we pass magnet. So by magnet we can separate the iron, and then we have common salt and sand. So by the method of filtration, sand in the residue and common salt and water will left. So how can we separate the common salt and water? With the method of evaporation. So we will get the common salt. Then the next example is ammonium chloride, sodium chloride and sulfur. So you know ammonium chloride is sublimate. So add carbon disulfide, shake and filter. When we add carbon disulfide, sulfur will dissolve in carbon disulfide. So in filtrate there is a sulfur because sulfur is dissolved in carbon disulfide, and we evaporate and we will get sulfur. In residue there is ammonium chloride and sodium chloride. Then we use sublimation because ammonium chloride is sublimate. So ammonium chloride and NaCl, sodium chloride, we will separate. The another example is iron filling, sulfur and ammonium chloride. Again we heat. So iron filling plus sulfur in residue and ammonium chloride sublimate. Then we pass magnets. So iron filling and sulfur will be separated. So these are the some schematic scheme for separation of various mixtures. Students, here we have completed the chapter 3. So do your work properly and focus on your studies. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care.